Alright, it is Saturday morning. It is college football day. You know what that means. We're gonna talk college football. But, before all the games start, it is like 7 in the fucking morning. I just want to talk about Dillion Gabriel. Like, look, it's just been on the back pedal of my mind this entire week as my video's been blowing up, which, by the way, 100k views. Thank y'all so much. Y'all don't know how much, actually, it is kickstarting my channel. Like, a lot of people are now giving me attention, and it's a great thing, but it's also a bad thing because I realize, holy shit, I'm a fucking moron. And I will admit, I missed out so bad on some of these quarterbacks that it actually bugged me. Dillion Gabriel, I missed out on talking to him. Curtis Rourke, I missed out on talking to him. Will Howard, I don't even know how I forgot Will Howard. I'm someone who watches football weekly. That is all on me. I am the first one to own up to it. I apologize for missing out on these quarterbacks. So, I want to make individual videos talking about these guys. And Dillion Gabriel is someone a lot of people in my comments were going on about, just saying, oh, you missed on Dillion Gabriel. Dillion Gabriel is going to be the biggest dark horse, the biggest surprise pick. He might not be a first rounder, but he will make the most noise. And absolutely, I quite agree. And I know I said he was undersized. And trust me when I say he's undersized, he is undersized. Look, when you compare him to the other quarterbacks, even the shortest one in the draft, next to, like, I think Quinn Ewers is like 6'2". Dillion Gabriel comes in at 5'11", 200 pounds. And if you want to say ESPN has him listed at 6 foot, they also have Bryce Young listed at 6. I do not buy Bryce Young being 6 foot for a damn second. So I cannot take ESPN's word legit because the sites that have Bryce Young's actual height also have Dillion Gabriel at 5'11". So yeah, he is severely undersized, but I think he also packs a lot of talent. I mean, this year he's thrown for 3,000 yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I mean, I don't see the difference between him now versus Oklahoma because he was lighting up Oklahoma. Like, he was killing it there. He was like 30-6, I think, to end off the season. I mean, he is doing great. But when you talk about Dillion Gabriel, you also got to take into the fact he has the most experience. This is where his advantage comes in. He's got the most experience playing college football. I mean, he's been playing since like 96. He's got like a 6-year, he's a super senior, may I mention. He's been playing for 6 years. Like, he's got some like, he could be the Bo Nix of this draft. He's got that type of level of experience. He's been playing for a really long time. But let's look past the height and everything else. Let's actually just talk about Dillion Gabriel for a second. Let's look into his stats. I want to talk about his weaknesses, his strengths. It's just I want to actually go more in depth on Dillion Gabriel. I watched more of his highlights. Just watching him back, it's like he was someone I did watch at Oklahoma. He is someone I'm watching now. It's like he is a great quarterback. I think a lot of people got my thing wrong. I never said he was a bad quarterback. It's just the projections do have him at a day 3 pick, so I was just assuming already. It doesn't matter what I say. It's just they're going to take him at a day 3 regardless. But as we go into the playoffs, he can make some noise, and I've wanted to look more into depth on him. With the completion rate is 73.8, which is one of the higher completion rates throughout all the quarterbacks. I think he has a higher completion rate than Cam Ward at even 2. I think Cam Ward's got like a 65. So there's that. It's like he's playing decent competition for the people who say he's not. Boise State, they're in the playoffs, decent competition. He beat them out 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. It's like he could run too. I think he's had some games where he rushed for 65 yards, and he has games where he'll rush for like 30 back to back. Like, Dillion Gabriel really does not have a lot of weaknesses with him. It's just his size. If he was 6'5", he could be the #1 overall pick. I think what I was nitpicking at is just, his size. I think a lot of people were doing it too. I mean, like I said, if he was 6'5", they'd be calling him the next Josh Allen or some shit. Like, he did beat Ohio State, which I will admit, that was a weird game itself, and I'm one to say, oh, Will Howard blew it at the end, by not fucking knowing how to tell the clock management time. But I can't really say much on that either. Like, he doesn't play defense. But on his side of the ball, he did great. 23 for 34, 341 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I mean, he did great versus them. Purdue's an ass school. Illinois is pretty ass. I mean, they're 20 ranked in the nation. Michigan fell apart this year, so I can't say much on that. So his competition has been a giant hit or miss, but even then, when it is competition, I mean, his toughest game was against Wisconsin, which was a giant weird, what the fuck? It's like, somehow that game came down like a nail biter, 16-13. I don't know what happened with that. I had that being a blowout. I don't know what happened there, but he still did pretty great, 218 yards. He got sacked twice. I mean, he's only got 12 sacks entirely on the year. So he is someone who could definitely escape the pocket. Like I said, he's got the most experience. He's someone who's played in college for 6 years. He's been doing this shit for 6 years. There's not been one year where he's had one bad year. Every year he's played, he's done fantastic. Like even when he was playing at UCF, he was still going 27 for 27 touchdown interception ratio. Dillion Gabriel has not really had a bad year. He's been popping off every year he's played. So I will say he's got a lot of positives, which makes him really great. I mean, he's been playing for 6 years, as I've said already. So he's a great athlete. He is a fantastic athlete. He is someone who will improvise and scramble on the point. Like, his legs have so much power behind them. He's not a weak quarterback. He is not a weak guy either. I'd like to say he's more like the Hawaiian Quinn Ewers to my eyes. Like, he's got strength behind him. He's got everything. I mean, he's got all the tools you would want in a nice quarterback, except maybe the frame. I mean, he's got a fantastic accuracy. His ball placement is on point. There is just games where if there's a corner on the wide receiver, he's going to find a way to magically get that ball right into the wide receiver's hands. And he just does it so perfect. Like, the lobs look so clean, but his spiral is so damn tight too. Like, he's got a fucking nice deep ball. Like, so you're probably asking yourself, wait a minute, why do you have Dillion Gabriel going low? You just said he is an amazing talent. He's someone who doesn't really pack a lot of negatives in his game. Yeah, he doesn't. It's not his game that is the problem. It's just the problem is that he is going to be 25 by the end of his rookie season. He's going to be 24 next month. That is something you really have to just take into account, because we are in an era where if a quarterback does not learn quick, or if he's not ready to go like fucking instant, they just dump you to the side. They push you to the side, and that's not even on his fault. That's just on the fucking game's fault. That's on the NFL's fault. That's on these teams' fault. They don't want to take their time with development quarterbacks. They don't want to take their time and actually develop these guys perfectly, and they don't want to, they don't have patience. Most of these teams do not have patience. They will sit him for a year, guaranteed, which, like I said, he is going to be 24. Bo Nix is 24. The difference between the two is Bo Nix being, older on the older side in last year's draft was that Bo Nix was still a day one talent. He was going to play regardless his first year. Dillion Gabriel, I think what a lot of people are agreeing with is that, yes, he is not a day one. He will be a backup. He's going to be a fine damn backup, but it's just who he sits behind and who he develops at is really just going to be his deciding factor, because if he goes to a team where if they, they already have a qualified starter somewhere like Stafford, where Stafford plays another year, it's guaranteed Gabriel will sit. Gabriel's going to sit, and by the time he does start, he'll be 25 and 26 to end his rookie season. In which, if Gabriel does sit, Gabriel will sit his first ever entire year, which he'll be 25 at the end of his rookie season, which means by the time his second season will start, he'll be 25 to start the year, and he'll be 26 to end. And if he's not ready to go, like if they try developing him and it just doesn't work out as they think, and when he finally plays, he's just not the guy. It's like if he doesn't pop off his first year, which he has a short time frame in the NFL given his age. If he does not pop off his first ever actual starting year, which whenever it is, because of his age, it's like, it's okay, he does not look great. We're going to just have to go on and move on to the next guy. If he was like 22, 23 and finally started at the age of 24, then it's a lot different, because you still have time to learn from him. How long can you really wait on Dillion Gabriel? How long can you really wait till you say, okay, I think we just have to move on to the next guy? But if you take him at like a high, 4th, 5th round pick, Dillion Gabriel is the perfect fucking, he's the quarterback you would want. He is a quarterback. He was someone I would take over Carson Beck. Fuck Carson Beck. It's like there's plenty of other guys though. That's the only problem with him, is that yes, he possesses elite talent. It's just there's a lot of guys who just do the same shit he does, and they do it, at a younger age, like Drew Allar, who watched the game. He plays in a weaker passing offense though, but it's like he can throw the ball, he can gunsling, he's got arm strength, he's got speed, but he's got a higher frame and he's got a way younger age. So it's like, these teams are going to look at the age and they're going to say, okay, there's a guy, Dillion Gabriel has all the talent we want. It's just there's a guy who does it a lot the same, or is like, he's a lot younger and we can have more time to develop him. Gabriel's biggest concern is only going to be his age. And I would say, oh, it's not his fault. It's something he cannot control. Yes, it is, because he decided to wait another 2 more fucking years to play in college. He could have came out last year and he could have came out the year before that, and I don't know why he decided to stay. He's a super senior by choice. He's not a super senior because he was forced to. He's not someone who stayed because he still had talent to show. He's someone who stayed because he chose to. He had the talent. A lot of people were actually already looking at him last year and said, shit, he might be a good quarterback. If he came out last year, he would have went early second round. If he came out the year before that, I do think he was already better than like a Will Levis, which you saw how that panned out. Will Levis is a fucking bum. It's like Dillion Gabriel could have went way ahead of a Will Levis. So my point is, Dillion Gabriel waiting and being patient for the game of college is kind of just what's going to be his biggest fuck over. It's not a bad decision. He might win a national championship. He might win the Heisman. That's great, but none of that shit translates over to the NFL, which is your main goal. But if your main goal is to be one of the best college quarterbacks of all time, Dillion Gabriel, you're right up there, and you might, make history depending on how the rest of the season pans out. Ultimately, if I had to sum it up, the kid's got it all. Like, he's got the talent. He's got the ultimate field vision. He's able to feel the presence like nothing else. He's able to run. He's got the arm strength. It's just his age is going to be his biggest boundary. His age is just what's pushing him back from being a fucking round 2 or round 1 pick. His age is just ultimately, like I've said, his biggest fuck over, because it's like when you're a scout, I don't know how it works, but whenever you're a scout or you're just in the draft room and you're looking at the list of quarterbacks, if you're a team that needs a quarterback, there's a lot of better options, who are a lot younger, who are a lot taller, who could do what he does. I'm not saying, they could replicate what he does, because he's a great quarterback. He's one of the top quarterbacks in college right now. But there's a lot of other development quarterbacks, because we are in a draft class where development quarterbacks are on the rise. It's like there's a lot of development quarterbacks, and they're a lot younger than him that you could really take a shot on. Like, Drew Allard, Cade Klubnik, Diego Pavia, I don't even know how to say his last name, Will Howard, Riley Leonard. There's a lot of younger guys with a bigger frame and just, can do what he does, if not probably even better. I'm not saying Dillion Gabriel is a bad quarterback. He's a great quarterback, but maybe he'll just be a great college quarterback, and it just won't translate to nothing. And maybe if it does, what team is really going to wait on a 25-year-old quarterback to develop right? What team is going to wait on him? I just genuinely want to know what team, because most teams, like I said, we are in an era where they want to get the next guy quick. They want to get their franchise quarterback quick. They don't want to wait 2, 3, 4 years and see maybe this guy could be it. No, if you're not in it one shot, which is all he's going to get, he's going to get one shot, because someone like Jalen Milroe, who's a lot younger, like way younger, like if Milroe does not pop off in his first year, Milroe's going to get another shot. Why? Because he's young. If Dillion Gabriel doesn't do it in his first year, he's not going to get another shot. He'll be pushed to back up immediately, because, his age. It's like that's the gap between him and the other quarterbacks. It's just his age that is pushing him back. Thank you all so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. That will do it for this random recap. Thank you all so much. Again, for 100K views, that is insane. I really wanted to try to make up for the draft video by talking about Dillion Gabriel, because he is someone I missed on. He is someone I missed on quite a lot. So, I'm glad I could finally talk on him, and I really hope, I didn't fail to disappoint with this one. And if I did, I apologize. I'm not the biggest Dillion Gabriel fanatic out there. So, I tried my best to talk on him. And, yeah, that's all I can say. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.